that's the difference between, as an employee, doing something because you've been told to do it on the one hand, and then on the other hand, doing something because A, it works, and B, it's going to make your life easier in achieving your aims.
Yeah, totally. It's not foisted on you. You actually understand it.
Yeah. So next up, we have something called the myth of self-organization. So,
right. Oh, one of my favorites. Well, firstly, there's a big myth. When people talk about, agile teams self-organize, they do self-organize, but they self-organize within a framework. So there's a set of guardrails here. It's not a free fall. They don't just do whatever they want. And if we think about why self-organizing, partly cultural, if I tell you to do something, if I mandate it, how do you feel? If I say, here are the things that we need to, right.
Yeah, I've been told to do it. It almost removes your agency, doesn't it? It removes your power and your involvement, and you're fulfilling something then rather than leading it.
Yeah. And so when we set the right parameters, so going back to business value, we understand all of that. We understand our goals. We know what we're shooting for, right? And then we start to get people's buy-in. We have a framework in terms of ways of working. So it's not a free fall at all. But within that framework, who knows best how to do a code review? The people who do the code reviews, right? Who knows best how long it's going to take? They do. Yeah. That's what we mean by self-organizing. We respect people to know their craft. And therefore, the professionals can self-organize. This is where we've got to be careful, because the professionals, the experienced people can self-organize. And again, I'm going back to the Formula One car example before, but if you look at a pit stop, they're super fast. They can change a tire or a suite of tires in 3 seconds or something, because they've done it over and over and over and over and over. Right?
Yeah, it's incredible watching those people at pit stop.
It's marvelous, right? It's really inspiring. Yeah. Any high-performing team, they're high performers because they've done it over and over and over.
That's muscle memory, isn't it? It's so inherent. They can't do it any other way.
Exactly.
It's amazing.
Yeah. And that's what we have to help our teams to do, to self-organize. So that's why we have frameworks. And they are frameworks. They're not rule books, they're frameworks, okay? But it's to help us get to that place of muscle memory. And we can inspect and adapt on the way, but we've got to get that muscle memory. Many, many organizations miss that step. They don't have the discipline. And without discipline, you're a hot mess.
Yeah.
70% again.
And it's kind of, these are the hard yards, isn't it? This is like living it day in, day out. This is like rocking up on a Monday morning, knowing that you're going to put the weekend behind you and really get into it and commit yourself to it through the week and see it through. And it's a total change of behaviour. And it's that's easier said than done for a lot of people. I think that's easier said than done.
Yes, but it's on us to excite them. It's on us to incentivize them, not with silly games, but really, come on, we've got this goal. How are we going to achieve this goal? It's on us. Yeah,
because the flip side is that when you do have that like truly self-organizing team, that's when everybody understands their role. They understand the value that they're bringing into that multidisciplinary team. They understand the borders between each other's responsibilities, but at the same time, they know how to help and support each other in their inputs and outputs. And that becomes really, that flips the script, and then you become a really, really effective team.
Yeah.
All right. So number 6, we've got here agile theatre versus business agility.
Yeah. Agile theatre. I love it.
Agile theatre. It sounds great, doesn't it?
It's just great. Agile theatre, cargo cults, they're aligned. We go through the book. We do this, we do this, we do this. We have our retrospective. We just published actually a LinkedIn article on the nightmares of retrospectives. So you can go through a retrospective and waste 90 minutes. because everyone's like
Yes.
high fives and post-its. No one digs into what we really need to focus on. You know,
Mm.
that's agile theatre, and that
Mm.
doesn't take us anywhere. I spoke to an organisation about 6 weeks ago. Um, they've got a challenge in that their product that they're building, 2 years in build, okay, nothing delivered. Nothing delivered. Okay, and we're talking about a scaled agile approach, several teams. Think of the cost of this, and all of a sudden the board are concerned about spending money and no outcome. You're like,
Yeah.
well, imagine if you released every sprint and you released some incremental value and you tested it and you changed it. That's agility. And that's the difference between kind of just going through the motions and doing some weird ceremonies because you think it's all a bit weird at the end of the day. You know, just pay lip service to it, or really saying, what's our business value? What are we trying to solve? Let's pilot things. Let's get them out there to our users. Let's get real testing done. And then we take that data and we make some changes. That's real agility.
I'm a huge believer in that, get something out, get something, out early, start learning from it.
Exactly.
Don't set objectives that are too far off and too monumental, because when you get there, you'll realize that the objectives probably, aren't valid anymore. And you've missed a bunch of learning in the middle. You all that data, you've just missed it because you've been chugging away on your 9-month 18-month 2-year project, and to build this monolith over here, which is no longer relevant in the marketplace. It just feels like a waste of time and resource and effort to do that when you could be getting all of that insight. So absolutely. Right, this is one which is dear to my heart, and our teams at Coherence deal with this all the time, which is the technical debt time bomb.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and it's great. It's great when we hear developers calling this out because they know it's the right thing to do, but so often it's not taken seriously. All technical debt does is build and build and build. It's like having debt on your credit card, right? And then what are you going to do? Take another credit card? Or at some point, you're going to run out of credit facilities, okay? Yeah. It really is as simple as that. It's got to be dealt with. It's got to be paid off. The reasons for technical debt are interesting. Sometimes, and I work a lot in regulated industries, so there are odd occasions where we have to accrue a little bit to do a certain thing by a certain deadline. Mm-hmm. Right. It's not great, but sometimes that's how it goes. But the first thing we do then is we pay it off.
Yeah.
You don't leave it sitting there, because your description of the time bomb, it's ticking. All it's going to do is slow you down. Yeah. And lots of people don't want to hear this. I've even been told that I'm the wrong agile coach for an organization on one occasion because of a firm belief about this. But you can build as much technical debt as you want. One day it's going to crunch and you will not be able to move forward. So
and technical. It's like technical debt. Just for our listeners maybe don't come from a technical background. Technical debt is when you're just kind of like hacking code to get something done quite quickly. You've got a JFDI mindset, just flipping do it mindset to get something done, and then you kind of, it's human nature. Then the headline objective is achieved. Let's move on. What's the next thing? Well, unless you go back to that, well, you either do it properly in the first place, which is the preferred option, or you have a consolidation phase where you make good on the underlying lying code. Not as good, but still better than not doing it. Yeah. But the I guess the pressure is to just move on, sweep it under the carpet, and then the next thing that happens is you have to make a really important pivot in your project, which is driven by external factors, and you just can't do it because there's all this stuff there that is basically stopping you from doing it. And bang goes your velocity.
Yes, yeah. Bang goes your velocity, and chasing velocity is often what causes it, right? It's that blunt
Yeah.
instrument again.
Yeah. Yeah.
I worked with one organisation that kept several people for many, many years, way beyond where they should have been, because they were the only people who knew that particular bit of technical debt.
Yes.
We interrupt this episode to bring you some exciting news from Coherence. We've just launched a brand new white paper, Digital Transformation in Web Estate Management and Marketing Technologies. It's packed with insights, case studies, and strategies to help you navigate the complexities of managing large web estates and drive digital success. Want to dive in? Just scan the QR code on your screen and you'll get instant access to the white paper. Don't miss out, grab it now and transform the way that you manage your digital presence. And now back to the podcast.
Yeah.
And you kind of say, can you hear yourself? Right? Can you actually hear what you're saying? Why are we doing this? It's just bad practice. And I'm not saying that from a holier than thou perspective. Far from it. We've all had those tough deadlines. But you go back and you fix. You know what you can cope with to achieve that, but you plan your forward fix in the very next sprint.
I think there's another aspect to technical debt which you do see, and that's the effect that it has on people and their skill sets.
Mm-hmm.
Organizations that have got a high tolerance for technical debt end up skilling their people unconsciously, but they do it nonetheless, skilling their people to deal with technical debt.
Yeah.
So you see people whose entire skill set, or a large proportion of their skill set and their purpose, is because they are the people who know how to overcome a particular part of a system or platform that has got these features, built into it, or issues built into it. And you look at what that's doing to the organization, but you look at what that's doing to that individual. That individual is losing their skills. They're losing their opportunities to develop their own skills because they're being tasked to basically deal with things that are not correct in the first place. So it becomes quite corrosive, doesn't it? Across the board.
Very. And to your point about it holds a lot of people back. Have you ever seen the flip of that, where those people are the heroes?
Yeah.
Because they can fix it. And there is a cynical part of me that says, for some people, that's where they like to be. So it's quite a big topic, actually, but it's very corrosive. That's a great word. Yeah.
Yeah. You're right. The hero culture, I think, is one that we should all be a little bit skeptical of, because we're rewarding people with dopamine hits for basically fixing things that shouldn't be the way that they are in the first place.
Exactly.
We've got a
problem,
different
right?
issue. So we've got a problem. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
So okay, here we go. We're getting into terminology here. Kanban versus Scrum. Okay, not as exciting as Godzilla versus Mothra, but Kanban versus Scrum.
Depends.
Can be.
More exciting to me, but there you go. We've got to look at what it is we're trying to deliver, Julian. And, there's some element of, if we look at Scrum, for instance, it's about delivering in a time box so that we pause. We get our stakeholders to inspect this thing. Yeah. We check. We make any changes and we move on. If that's important to you, Scrum's the way to go. If you're in a situation, as many, for instance, infrastructure projects are, where you can show a stakeholder a bit of a network, right? Yeah. Some things just don't lend itself to Scrum. So maybe that's for Kanban, but Kanban is all about flow, limiting work in progress so that we focus. Too often, very sadly, I see Kanban as an excuse not to do things, as opposed to let's focus on flow, let's limit work in progress, let's really focus on the quality.
Yeah.
It's about, it's just move the tickets across the board quicker.
Yeah.
That's not Kanban, that's just bad agile.
Yeah.
So I don't believe that one is better than the other. It's about using the right one for the right thing at the right time. But whichever one you do properly, please. And don't think of Kanban as the kind of the poor relation or the way to get stuff done quicker. Again, I've had clients who've been misinformed. We don't want to go down the Scrum route. It slows teams down. Kanban's much quicker. And you're like, okay, well, tell me what you're trying to achieve. And they're doing something that's user focused, and they're missing the opportunity to get the users involved in sprints and so on. Think about what you're doing.
Yeah.
Think about why you're doing it. Both are great.
Yeah.
Just think about what you need.
So my thoughts on I completely agree with all of that, and that's very sensible advice. It's horses for courses. They're tools. You use them for the appropriate job. But one thing I noticed about Kanbans are like let's use a gardening metaphor. They're like the Japanese knotweed or the Leylandii of an organization, in that they proliferate. Kanban boards seem to self-propagate within organizations to the point where there seems to be hundreds of them, and of course the more of them, the more they seem to exponentially increase. Is there a way? Is there a sense in which, or maybe that's just a feature of my experience, but maybe is there a way in which Kanban can sometimes, I guess, be a way of taking a series of needs and kind of putting them on a board and then almost allowing people to forget about them?
Then to me, that's not Kanban, because Kanban is a really, really clearly defined way of delivering, and it's based on Kaizen. It's continuous improvement.
Yeah.
So if we put things up there and we forget, that's agile theatre again.
Yes. Yeah.
We're agile. We've got boards.
Yeah, yes, use them for the right purpose.
Yeah.
But then I guess that's also that, let's respect the authority of that board, not create too many of them to almost to like obviate a conversation. Let's deal with them in the right way. Okay, right. We've got here number 9, the lean startup versus agile. So first of all, what's a lean startup? How is it different from an agile approach?
So a really strong view on this. I don't think it's different. I love both. Okay, I don't think it's different. Lean startup, however you want to talk about it, it's about ideation. We've got to remember, agile is an umbrella term for different techniques. Okay, so if we're doing something that is around business value, if we're delivering collaboratively, if we're delivering incrementally, if we follow the principles of inspect and adapt, quality, lots of things fall under this umbrella. For me, lean startup is the same. Okay, but what we're talking about really is take an idea, put it in the hands of some users, test it, learn, iterate.
Okay, that sounds familiar.
Right? It's the same thing.
Yeah.
It's the same. These things are really complementary. And I know a lot of people get hung up on MVP, this whole thing about minimum viable product, and they think that's all they're ever going to get. Okay? Because a lot of people go half-hearted at a lean startup idea. They go and they say, right, we're just going to put something out there, and then they move on. They don't literally take it as an opportunity to go and learn.
Yes. Yeah.
And build it out. It's like you've got something. So they run out of money. All sorts of things happen. That's not the fault of the lean startup. It's the fault of how it's implemented. But for me, the two are really complementary.
Yeah. Now, that makes complete sense. And maybe that's why there's a negative connotation around MVPs somewhere, because, maybe, when it's used incorrectly, an MVP is short code for, a partially executed requirement. Something that's not quite fully there. And in that case, if you're using an MVP, I guess you have to be able to demonstrate how the not just the must-haves, but the would like to haves and should haves follow through as well. Absolutely. Absolutely.
I think totally fair. Some of it here, Julian, is we've got to understand the difference between a project and a product.
Yeah.
So lots of organizations, they're still in that phase where they don't quite know the difference between the product that's going to be ongoing and the project that has its termination. Yes. And they take the project approach, they build an MVP, they've run out of time or whatever. They don't treat it like a project that they continue to build on. MVP, you either bin it because it doesn't work or you adapt it. Right. Yeah. And that's a product and it has a life, and that life might be 2 years, 3 years, 5 years, whatever. Okay.
Yeah.
Or we might find it doesn't work, we kill it. But it's exactly. Yeah. But they take the project approach with an MVP, and people panic because they think they're not going to get any more. Yeah. They're not going to get it built out. We've had 6 months, it's done.
Yeah. That complete makes sense. And I think there's another conversation that we get into, maybe on another conversation if we get the chance to do that, Alison, which is around how businesses, I guess, create the space for these programs, how they budget for them, how they understand business value, how they build business cases. Because part of the MVP behavior is driven around I guess the visibility that people have got over budgets, the need to do something which is discrete, which is finite, to get something done, and then what happens after that. So there's a cultural piece, but maybe that's for another time.
It's a big topic.
It is, and we should invite our friends from procurement to join us in that conversation, perhaps. Okay, so. Last question then. We've saved the best one for last, or maybe the most controversial one. When does Waterfall work better? Okay.
I think there are times when Waterfall works better. Okay. And there might be fellow agile practitioners that want to shoot me in the head at this point. But we've got to think, to your point before, horses for courses, right? Is it we're trying to build here? Is it a project? Is it a product? Are we going to build something, it's done, and we walk away? Okay. Sometimes that's okay. Sometimes it's a product. Okay. Agile works for products. In essence, Agile works for complex products and services in complex environments. Why? Because Agile teams are complex adaptive systems. If we really think about it, we start with some business objectives. We understand the value that we're shooting for. Maybe we don't know how to get there, so we inspect and adapt. If you know all of your requirements and they're fixed, if you're going to build a bridge from A to B across the river, those 2 points don't change. You've built bridges before, that kind of thing, probably Waterfall is okay. If you know you're building from point A to point B, but you've got some seismic activity and things might change, then you probably need to take a more agile approach.
Yeah.
It depends.
That sounds scarily pragmatic to me. That sounds very sensible on the ground, but I can like you, I can hear the howls, perhaps from some of the agile community, on that. And Waterfall, I think maybe in the same way that agile has suffered from being misapplied, for being used in the wrong circumstances, and as a result, it's failed because it was a waterfall project. Okay. No, it failed because it was the wrong methodology for that use case.
Or lots of the behavioural issues caused it to fail. Yeah. There are a host of reasons why things fail. It's not necessarily the tool.
Well, wonderful. So Alison, I just want to thank you so much. I mean, I think we've had a great conversation there. We've taken those 10 points, and in my mind, we've completely settled the debate, and nobody ever needs to have a discussion about the limitations of Agile ever again. I think it's done. So that's what an achievement. So thank you so. Sorry, is there anything that we should have mentioned that we didn't during the conversation?
Good point. I think we've touched on some really valid points here, Julian. I could probably give you another 20, and we could have several more conversations, which I'm sure we will at some point. But what I would like to say is that if anybody's interested in this, why don't they reach out and tell us what they want to hear about?
Good shout. Let us know, and we will bring it to this forum, and we will have this fantastic idea.
We look forward to hearing from you people.
Absolutely, we do. Alison, thank you so much. I've really enjoyed the conversation today, and thank you again for appearing on our cast. It's been really great, and no doubt we'll have the opportunity to speak again soon. Take care.
I hope so. Thank you. Bye-bye.